Yeah, mine is.
No, mine is.
It's on.
Oh, okay.
Your mic's not on. You just gotta get it once, yeah. Just hit the bar. That one, yeah, right there. There you go.
Ah, there we go.
Now it's good, that's all you gotta do.
Okay.
Yeah, we had that.
We on?
We are on.
Okay.
We're right
Do
there.
we look good?
We do. We're a little out of focus. That could be my
These are
fault.
all set a little high.
Do you see that stack letter? I think everything's on.
Is that the old one from that one?
Yeah.
44. 44 letters.
Yeah, I know.
Listen to him. You made it that long?
David, might be started here.
I don't know.
Finish those meetings today on Fresh Street.
Outstanding. We'll try to keep it short.
Oh, please.
These will be easy.
This will be our time.
Okay, everybody got their mics on?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, the July 14th, 2021 Torch Lake Township Zoning Board of Appeals is now in session. It is 7 o'clock. Roll call, Jim Mikey. Here. Mark Jakubiec.
Here.
Nicole Shoemaker.
Here.
Jim Gainey.
Here.
Dave Barr is here. Alternates, Marcia Peterson.
Here.
Laura Anderson.
Here.
Our recording secretary is Veronica Bittner.
Here.
And our zoning administrator, Sarah Kopriva, is absent tonight. She had another thing she had to do. And our assistant zoning administrator is Jackie Peterson.
Here.
Okay. I guess, do we have any public comment? No public comment. Approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or subtractions they want to do from the agenda?
I move to accept the agenda as written.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All any opposed? We have any conflict of interest for tonight? Okay, approval of the June 9th, 2021 minutes. Anybody have anything they want to add to the minutes or change in the minutes? I know you just got them, so we'll just take the time to read them. Everybody got through?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody have any corrections they want to make to the minutes?
I have a comment, I'd forgotten this, but it says down under 16 comments, concerns of the public. It mentions that I brought up that the PC minutes policy, we'd reviewed that, and Sarah went through this with us, where there were some discussions of how much detail to be in the minutes and what we needed to include, what we didn't. And as I recall, we were kind of struggling with the same issues, and we talked about having Sarah look at our policy, and we were going to kind of go through the same process with the ZBA, and we were going to put it on the July agenda, which we didn't. Of course, Sarah's not here anyway, so. You know,
That is the reason it's not on there.
oh, you're way ahead of me then,
She
never
wasn't
mind.
here. So I didn't put it on because she was.
Okay.
Okay, we would have put that on as an addition if she was gonna be here, but being she's not, we will review that. I think our minutes in the past have been pretty straightforward. You know, I don't think we've had a lot of unnecessary comments through them. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but.
I would agree. I mean, ours are a little bit, I think, more straightforward
Yeah.
than the planning commission can kind of be all over the
You
map.
know, I think the
sometimes with
biggest thing with our
discussions.
minutes is to
Yep.
get the, like when we have an appeal, is to make sure we get the finding of facts proper and the votes proper.
Right.
That's the biggest
Procedures
thing,
are
having,
yes. Procedures are followed, and then the minutes just reflect the concise
right,
of what happened.
right.
The less you write, the better.
Keep the fluff out of it.
Yeah, right. The less you write, the better.
Yes.
When I went to the one court proceeding, the judge actually took the minutes and read them and just made his decision off of that, boom, right now. You know, it was cut and dried. So as long as we keep them that way, I think we're in good shape. But we'll go through it with Sarah when she's here, just to make sure. Okay? So is there anything that anybody wants to change?
No.
I didn't see anything. So I'll make a motion that we approve the June 9th, 2021 minutes as written.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, we'll have I don't think we need a roll call on that. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So that passes actually 7-0. Veronica, is there, speaking of these minutes, I know Kathy said she would have them posted by the end of the month. Is there any reason that is not being accomplished that you know of? I mean, I think we just got these minutes, at least I saw them, I think it was Monday, wasn't it? So, you know,
These minutes were submitted to her within 4 days
okay.
of the last meeting.
So,
I did submit them though with the PC minutes last month. So, no, there shouldn't be. I'm trying to think back. It was the regular board meeting that we had some back and forth regarding how much detail I had in there, but these were submitted from report by Friday.
So
That we
I'll need to talk to Kathy. But I think we have to have these at least 2 weeks prior to our meeting, so everybody gets a chance to review them. And
You know, I did
That would
an email with them from Kathy.
There was a discussion, and it might have added to the confusion, because of, I believe it was last month, they were varying, versions in the sense that if you printed them at home, because it was sent out in the Word document, so Sarah would comment, she would send them out in a PDF, so that regardless where you print them, they were all the same. I mentioned that to Kathy, and we did have a discussion about that I would be sending them to Sarah for Sarah and Jackie first. They would go in PDF form. When I sent them to Kathy, she sent them to be uploaded on the website, and they couldn't do them that way. And I think she perhaps got a little stuck there, thinking they had to wait for them to get up on the website. Maybe my own thought.
Okay.
So just a change in procedure might have been the hang up, but I am, like, these will be done by tomorrow afternoon, just with my other duties with the township, and I have to get them done.
Okay,
Do our meeting minutes have to be published in the paper?
No.
Didn't think so, but I thought I'd check.
our meeting minutes, I don't think they have to be published. They go on the website. But
Eventually.
we've never published them in the paper.
Okay. Township board meeting minutes? They did away with it, right?
I think there's a synopsis.
Yeah, it's a synopsis, but they did away with it. We're just putting them on the website now? They're not putting them in the paper anymore? I don't know. There wasn't anything in last week's paper. I was bored because there wasn't anything to read then.
Were you looking at which paper?
They put it in the Elk Rapids paper.
Yeah,
It's cheaper.
correct, yeah.
So Marcia, have we received any communication?
No, we have
Thank you.
not received
Okay.
any communication.
All right. Then let's go on to review the ZBA rules of procedure. And I think everybody has that in the new, where Jackie put everything in, Sarah put it in red to what we changed. So if you got time to review that and see what your thoughts are. That's one thing I marked. Everybody's talking. Hey, just let me know when you're done reviewing, please.
Done.
Done. Done.
Done.
I'm done.
Okay. Okay, the only thing I have is on page 5, under number 2, where it says, "The resolution supported by 2/3 of the members present should have been in red." And I thought we were taking out the IE 4 members.
I have the same in my notes.
We're taking that out.
Yes.
Right. So Jackie, if you could take that IE 4 members out. Okay. What else might we have?
I have in my notes on page 2, number 4, the secretary shall participate or assist with all clerical work of the ZBA.
Pardon me, what did you have, Laura?
I had, the secretary shall participate or assist with all clerical work of the ZBA and perform such other.
I thought that was difficulty worded the way it is right now.
Yeah, I have my notes said that we were gonna make it to participate with, like it says.
And that's what I have too. I have the same thing.
Wouldn't it be
Participate with.
precipitate in? Participate in?
Participate in or assist with.
So what, Laura, what do you think it should say?
Well, in my notes, like I said, when I turn this on, I get feedback. Can you hear? Should I keep it off or on?
Push it a little further away from you. This is further, you get it. There's that.
Okay.
There you go.
It might just be the proximity of these two together. Okay. I had participate or assist with in my notes. I'm trying to recall.
Either way, it would be okay, I think.
Pardon?
Either way, I think it would be okay, or just shall assist with all clerical work.
Well, is it clear when we say the secretary shall participate with? So if she has no clerical work, can she not still participate? It's being picky, but it just doesn't read very well.
No, and it should be participate in or assist with.
Either way.
Mhm.
Yeah, doesn't matter to me, whichever way you want to do it. So Laura, how do you want it to read?
My preference would be assist with. I think you could take the participate out.
Okay.
I think that, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree, because she's already going to be participating anyway. She's a member.
Yeah. Okay,
So,
so Jackie, did you get that? Okay. So Anything else
Assistant.
anybody has?
I have several.
Okay, let's go, Marcia.
I'm sorry, assist,
I'm going to page 4, at the top of page 4.
assist with, I know.
And prior to that is Article 3, and we have A and B, and I think it should be number 1 and number 2 to be consistent with the way the rest of the lettering and numbering is.
Page 4.
Change A and B to 1 and 2
To be
Makes sense.
consistent with the rest
Yeah.
of the,
with the rest of the.
That one was letter.
Yeah, it's easy.
And then now under number 2, if you want to refer to chapter 20, section 2006.
What were you looking at?
Now I'm going to chapter 20 in reference to number 2 in the guidelines. Go
On page
to
4.
chapter, I'm on page 4, number 2. You'll have to go to the zoning Board of Appeals 20, which is a different piece of paper, and look at 20.06. And what has happened in 20.06, number 1 is left off, not applicable to most other land, structures, or building in the same zoning district. And what I'm doing is just being consistent with the wording from both of these, from the guidelines and chapter 20.
I'm not seeing where. Okay, so you're saying that number 1 is left out of.
Number 1 is totally left out of the guidelines under number 2, which is not applicable to most other land, structures, or building in the same zoning district.
Are you saying that number 2 should be looking?
Yeah, because when you look at this, everything starts with number 2 going down through number 5, but number 1 is totally left off.
on which page?
Page 4.
Page 4, at the top, number 2,
So, yeah.
which was,
Change from D to 2.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
okay,
Where-
Whereby reason.
If you look
misses
at
this-
the,
See, this was supposed to be.
what we did with the zoning
We
ordinance,
did this because it was covered here.
and we should be listing
And
everything on
we
the
start with
zoning ordinance under A
exceptional
should be listed.
narrowness,
here.
Oh, didn't we do that?
topography,
Which is
dot, 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 but we're missing number 1.
20.06.
That should start this.
We were shifting a lot of stuff, but
Yeah, we did that after.
Right, that's why we took that out of
You
here,
go
but
back
it's
and
missing.
Catch that.
So we.
You're right, Marcia, that
Just,
should be.
just to be
this information
consistent and
here,
thorough
but
on
it is
both.
missing-
oh, we have to be consistent. I'm lost without
All right.
consistency.
Okay,
It's a good thing we know where you live then.
okay, all right. You got this?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you go to your chapter 20, zoning board of appeals, 20.06, and look at A. You've got all of these things listed here and here, but this number 1 is missing
So what
from
we-
this.
So what we should do is take this here and replace it with.
That, so that it all reads the same
Right.
and everything is inclusive.
Okay.
I'm probably not saying it correctly.
Oh, I think you are.
I think.
You just took a minute to circle the arrows and,
Listed out here and here it's in a paragraph.
Right,
So looking for.
yeah.
Which would you prefer?
List it out?
It doesn't matter, but number 1 is totally missing.
Well, what I'm thinking of doing is if you want to list it out on here, I'll just copy and paste it.
And that's fine, either way.
And then it would become 2 and then A, B, C, D, E.
Right.
Right. Okay.
Do you want them numbered then? Or is it better, I guess, it would be at this point, number 2 would be A through D?
Yeah, it might be easier for people to understand it too. Okay. And then if you go back to the guidelines on, oh, I don't even know what page this is. Page 4. Wait a second. No. Sorry.
These are numbered. Here's a, yeah, here's a.
Forget what I said. I was on the wrong thing. If you go to page 7 under the guidelines, number 2, it starts with F and goes to H, and I think it should be A through H.
Yeah, I've aged twice.
Oh, right.
Wow.
And then if you go down to number 3 on the same page, when an application or appeal has been filed in proper form and with the required data, the zoning administration office will notify the chairman and the secretary and shall immediately place the said application or appeal upon the ZBA's calendar for a public hearing, is what I would recommend.
Okay, what,
Which spot again?
do that again.
Okay, number 3 on page 7. When an application or appeal has been filed in proper form and with the required data, the zoning administration office or zoning administrator, whichever you prefer, shall notify the ZBA chairman and secretary and immediately place the said application or appeal upon the ZBA's calendar for a public hearing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
It does.
One more time, sorry.
Okay. When an application or appeal has been filed in proper form and with the required data, the zoning administrator's office shall notify the ZBA chairman, chairperson, and secretary, and immediately place the said application or appeal upon the ZBA's calendar for a public hearing. Okay. And then underneath there, I just have a question. It says, such a public notice shall always be posted at the township's principal office at any other locations considered appropriate by the public body. Do we need to put in there where people can find the additional posting? If it's outside of the website and outside of the office? I mean, I don't know if it's at the grocery store or the post office or,
They aren't doing it anymore.
they're not doing it anymore?
The grocery store's not, I still put them up in the
Post office and out here on the board.
and on the website.
All I'm
New
asking,
website in here.
yeah, all I'm asking is should we put that in there that it's posted?
Do we want to be that specific?
I don't know, that's what I'm asking.
I think we should just leave it the way it is.
Okay.
because We're just saying it's being posted.
I seem to recall in our discussions updating the ordinance that Sarah had said something in places we had looked that, a lot of places we repeat the posting requirement of the township. And as I recall, it's somewhere in the ordinance, what we're supposed to do, where it gets posted, who's responsible for what. And she recommended we always just refer to that section of the ordinance, so we don't try to rewrite it and then get it confused. And it's just clear in that one spot in the ordinance, and everywhere else in these things, just refer to section whatever it
For the
is.
township's meeting on policy.
Yeah, for the meeting notice. That's it, yep.
That's pretty good, Cole.
We can do that.
I'm just repeating Sarah's recommendation.
I thought last night's meeting might have wore you out, but you're on your game.
And then number 7, page 7, number 5, I would add the ZBA chairperson, secretary may require of the applicant such additional information and data as is deemed essential to fully advise the ZBA with reference to the appeal. I'm on page 7, number 5. The ZBA chairperson and secretary may require, and then just add ZBA chairperson and secretary to secretary.
Or secretary.
Or secretary. One of us or both of us are holding hands doing it together.
Right.
And then on page 8, number 9, about halfway down, it says, about halfway down, in the absence of a motion by the ZBA, the chair shall rule in cases that are dismissed for want of prosecution, the applicant will be furnished written notice of the action by the secretary of the ZBA. Can we add there by the chairperson or secretary of the ZBA?
Just make it chairperson.
Chairperson, that would be nice, thank you.
I'm not following you on that.
Why not just put in ZBA
Number 9.
as opposed to delineating chairperson or secretary? Just say ZBA.
In the absence of a motion.
ZBA,
Could do that.
we could just put that on there.
I
would
put
be
that
fine.
in.
And then the action by the secretary of the ZBA.
Yeah, just do that.
Fresh
That's
written
good.
notice.
Just by the ZBA.
Yes.
That's better yet.
And it's clean.
Yep.
All hang together.
Yes.
Where it says-
But they're gonna replace it.
We'll have to join
Yeah,
themselves.
they're gonna remove that and say chair. Chair.
Okay, action by
Maybe.
the chair.
Yeah.
I worked there. I'm not sure they're considered meals.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, now we're going with you.
What about that second part of secretary of election?
We change minutes.
Of actions by the ZBA, just take out the secretary. And then down in a couple of more sentences is a written request with the secretary for reinstatement. Maybe just change that to the ZBA, with the ZBA for reinstatement.
Well, you may want to keep secretary in there so there's a definite person. You may have somebody say, well, I gave it to so-and-so, I'm not sure which one it was. Should be secretary. We have one designated person.
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, or.
We'll just leave it secretary.
Okay.
Or more of a field, ZBA, period.
Mhm.
Yeah, they don't.
I think if you put into the ZBA, it leaves any number, and there's a lot of wiggle room.
And then on the back where the signatures are required on page 10, we're asking Jim Minke to sign twice.
I'm important.
Well, we can't get the signature the first time, we'll get it the second time, right?
Double dipper.
And that's it. Looks good.
So what we'll do is at our next meeting, whenever that is, we will go through this, approve them, and sign it. Okay?
We'll have the rules for the other two that Sarah still needs to go over.
Yeah.
And
Good.
should we remove the vice chair or the member? Which one?
Vice Chair.
He's not a vice chair?
He is the Vice Chair.
So remove the member. We just to figure that out, remember.
Vices, I'm good.
Okay, then, so that, the rules and procedures done, the guidelines, appeal, application, I don't think we changed anything in that other than, is that the one Sarah was gonna add the letter?
She was gonna make the cover letter, and included all of that to go with the application. She also was gonna make
And then the notice of appeal form. I don't know that we changed anything in that, did we?
I don't think so.
Well, we had discussion, but I don't think we changed anything.
No, I don't think we did. Here. No, I don't think we did. I don't have any notations of changes to the form.
Jackie, do you remember if we changed anything in that? I don't think we did.
In which one?
The
The
notice
form,
of appeal form.
I had the landowner predecessor and title. The issue that we discussed, it would be page 3. At the top, C, that the special conditions or circumstances did not result from the actions of the landowner or predecessor in title.
Okay.
And then the same on page 4, number 3. That was also part of the group that Sarah was reviewing. Yeah, maybe that's why we didn't have.
So we should have those, both of those at our next scheduled meeting, whatever that might be. Okay, now we have our zoning ordinance, chapter 20. Anybody have anything with that needs to be revised?
On page 4, under D, for a hearing before the ZBA, the appellant shall furnish. And I wrote down here, do we need to add about having the area staked by a professional surveyor? Or change the
We have
scale
that.
map or sketch giving general direction?
We have the staking somewhere else.
Yeah, I think that is in one of the forms. Yeah.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the back side under D. For a hearing before the ZBA.
You know, we did add that to our rules of procedure,
All right.
Right.
So we
but I'm
need-
wondering, does it need to actually be in the ordinance for us to require it?
I don't know, I'm just thinking about consistency. If I were to do an appeal, I might go to chapter 20 to read about this,
Right.
and I don't know what your rules and procedures say.
Right,
Well,
and
we should
this is
reverse
actually
it.
the guidance that's enforceable.
It's in the guidelines.
But I mean, in the ordinance, do we need it in the ordinance too? Could somebody argue that it doesn't state that I have to in the ordinance?
Well, that's true, they
If
could.
we put it in the ordinance, then we can refer to it in the guideline, see the ordinance. Does that work?
Well, we have it in the guidelines. Just add it to the ordinance so that we're consistent between the two.
That would work too.
That makes sense?
I'm for
Yeah.
it.
Is this as you were saying?
Pardon me?
Is it written just as you were saying that?
Yes, staked by a professional surveyor. Let's see here, under the appeals, 6. And under the appeals, it states, any lot lines relevant to a variance request must be clearly staked by a professional surveyor. So what I'm saying is for consistency, it should stay the same.
So should that be added as number 4 under there, or,
Well, you could do that, but I think you need a little rewording of even maybe the first sentence. Shall furnish, you can't really furnish a surveyed lot. You know, just say shall, colon, and then you could put furnish, in it, you know, add furnish to the beginning of 1, 2, 3, and then add number 4 with you know, stake all, have all lot lines clearly staked by a professional surveyor or something.
Yeah, I would add that as number 4.
Yes. Thank you.
Because number 3 is actually for the drawing. Number 4 is when we go look at it. Anybody have anything else? Okay, so Jackie, if we could add that, and then we'll do the same thing at our next scheduled meeting, whatever that is, we will do all 4 of them and go through and what I'd like to do is get these changes done and get them in everybody's hands prior to, so we can just go through it. Okay? We could do that, appreciate it. Okay. I got on there this finding of facts, review and discuss. Does anybody got any thoughts on this finding of facts and what we need to do that would be helpful for putting this together so that when we have the meeting, we have some concrete finding of facts? Or does everybody feel that's just something that has to be done during the meeting?
I think beforehand, you can get a rough outline, but during the meeting, obviously, other things come up you need to add. But I think to have a basic outline pre-hearing.
I guess I can't emphasize how important these finding of facts are if it goes to court. They're absolute. When the judges is reading these minutes, they are actually going off of those finding of facts. So that it is very important that we do those as thoroughly as we can. So
It's
I-
a webinar where they show the little Calvert Bay Township finding of facts as a great example of them, and I have a copy of it if you want to get it or bring it next time.
sure.
That'd be
No, if we
great.
could get
You got it
that'd be
online,
great.
can you just email it to us?
I don't,
Or both? took a shot.
We get it only, and everybody has it.
So when you say finding of, like preconditioning our finding of facts before we actually have the meeting, is that what you're saying?
Well, I think you can, when you review everything, you can make some notes to what you think might be. And that might change as you go through the meeting. But I think we need to, at least that's what I do. I sit down when I write this out, I try to write out what I think might be some finding of facts. Just so when the meeting's going on, you're not trying to stumble through trying to come up with something.
Can we make possibly a worksheet that we can just work off of as we're doing the property inspection? So we don't forget anything?
Yeah. I
I'm
suppose
just
we
wondering,
can do that.
I kind of do that, but maybe we should make something a little semi-formal just for our own use. It doesn't have to be part of the policy procedure or anything, just a worksheet.
Let's see what Jackie's got.
That might be a worksheet.
Could be.
Could be. See what that is.
At least it's a good starting point.
Well, we're waiting for that. Cole, you got anything? Anything go on last night?
Did you see anybody?
You know, it's
last
been
night?
quiet. Yeah, actually, there's been a couple meetings since the last time we met. As you recall, we had to postpone. We were, in the last monthly meeting, we were considering the rezoning of the property up in Eastport, the old resale piece of property, and that got kind of delayed because there were some questions about the accuracy of the zoning map we were provided with and what was actually village residential and what was village business. And it turns out the map was accurate, which I guess is good news. But so we met on, what date was that? 23rd, or is that? Yeah, June 23rd. And reconvened to consider that, and the planning commission did, I guess, approve it or recommend the zoning change from village residential to village business at that site. From this point, I believe the county has say, if I recall right, they have say in this matter too, and ultimately it's actually the board that approves it or doesn't.
It goes from you to the county, you get the county input, and then it comes back to you.
Right.
And then goes back to goes to the board.
Yeah, so ultimately, although we approved it, we're just really providing a recommendation, I guess, is the end of that. And then last night, I know several of you I saw there last night. It seems like people wanting to rezone property is the current trend with the planning commission. And for those of you who don't know, the airport, they're looking to rezone that to commercial property. Turns out there's a lot to that story. Apparently, I don't know exactly what's fact and what's fiction at this point. There's a lot of unsaid.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Although there was some talk
Thank
at
you.
the end, I don't know how many stayed till Steve Langworthy was there, and he alluded to some options that we may have some other options to deal with this situation where the property owner can achieve what he wants and it wouldn't require rezoning of the property. So he's got several ideas on how to proceed with this thing.
That's Steve or Tim?
Steve Langworthy, I believe this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he laid out probably 4 or 5 different options that were available as time goes. Part of it was to just reject it. And then for you guys to rework the master plan, rework the zoning ordinance to cover it all, and then Days could go back and reapply or do whatever.
Right.
I don't know, he had many different options. You could do this, you could do this, you could do that.
It's still not entirely clear to me. That property is kind of unique. It was commercial property. And then they rezoned it, I think, in early 2000s, they said, to the airport. And there's a lot of questions in my mind of what they had in mind and what you can and can't
do there the way it exists.
It's gonna take a lot of work by the planning commission to go through all that,
Hours.
you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking forward.
Anything else, Cole?
No.
And Jackie, let's see what this is.
This was given at the seminar, it's a very good finding of fact. So, The second page is basically our criteria, same thing. But they also included the core criteria in their findings of fact, which we've done.
Okay, well, this gives everybody something we can use in the future.
Well, your summary of a finding of facts is pretty detailed.
Yes, it is.
Jackie, how do they use this document? Is this,
What do they do?
well, it's the final decision. I mean, is this part of the minutes?
That's my assumption, these are the minutes. Or that portion of the meeting that needed to go to the court as an applicant. There might have been more to the meeting than this, but,
Right, it's just captures just the appeal.
right. I think it's kind of a form that they go through each time to make sure they have the appeal number, the date, the applicant, the address.
Okay. Well, I
Thank
think
you.
that'll be helpful. Thank you, Jackie. Jackie, have you got anything to report to us? You gave us your list. Have you got anything to report?
Not really, it's on the list. Starting to slow down a bit because the people are starting to, we've already got the permits for their projects, and so those permits are starting to slow down the applications and builders. It may ramp up as the summer winds down, but. There's a bunch of different kind of stuff, and there's a lot.
Is there anything else going on with the property across from Jim?
I have not heard yet back from my pollution prevention hotline.
Or Tom. So, I've just been doing the airport stuff, so I haven't asked him about it again, but we have a flight situation that is horrible, but it's not visible from the road. You have to trespass to see it. But it's such that you can't ignore it. It's right there at the edge of the wetlands. It's probably 20 feet of those.
Jim?
No, roughly 4 or 5 boats, one pontoon boat that used to be on the Elta Road, and Deb rode it up and it got moved back there, I think. Just a ton of junk. There's a semi-trailer back there full of, I don't know what.
You wanna borrow my drone?
Is this?
I just walked back there. I know them and
No,
That's a
I've got
possibility
pictures.
though, Jim.
it could.
I've not used it much, I've got one.
I think
Pictures from Earth are old, they don't.
Right.
I had spoken to Deb about this before, and somebody that lived on the other side of the swale had made a complaint. And I don't know if it was a formal complaint, but was asking about it, because in the fall, when the leaves are gone, it's clear from Yelter Road and part of
You can see
the,
them there? Are you talking Peterson?
I don't know, she didn't give me a name, but yeah,
That's
if
the
you,
only
I think
property I can think of that can see that.
that's what I'm thinking that it is. And I don't know if it was a visitor that was visiting Peterson or not, so I just couldn't retain it because I don't have enough credit in. But yeah, it's a mess. It's
I don't know how many boats are back there. There's probably 6, 8
Oh,
boats
yeah,
back there.
snowmobiles,
Snowmobiles laying on the ground, and
pieces
4
of
or 5
dock.
cars.
There's a swamp in that corner.
It's a disaster.
First
I mean, it's
driveway
like-
just past the swamp.
That log thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
That dirt driveway just past the swamp. You can see one of the boats from the road.
So it goes back into the west.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's right across from Jim's house.
goes across my property because somebody going to remain nameless, i.e. my dad gave him the right of way to build the road back there. And now it's nothing but a dump.
Who owns the property?
His name is Ed Ponatowski.
The problem, part of the problem
Former builder,
is,
and from what I do know, he's recovering from an illness, and his children are leaving their vehicles, and
He's not actually recovering. He's getting worse. And the same day we discussed it, his caretaker called me about reducing the price to put it up for sale again. And supposedly there's one person interested in it that has the means to clear all that stuff out of there. But we've heard that before.
part of the issue back there is any ground seepage into that pond. You
right.
know, that's the scary part.
I called him, discussed it with my chief.
Didn't he get an auto accident?
No, he's got, Lou Gehrig.
And the, for the pollution prevention.
He worked on, those logs are pretty cool around here, yeah, many of them, but.
His family used to have, like, several birds had a cow.
Yeah, well, that's-
And they got lost in that swamp.
That's what that is.
What happened?
Yeah, there's one.
The house that got lost in that swamp or kind of drowned or got stuck or.
I don't know.
There's a big beaver dam out there now. It's not a dam, that's a lodge.
He's been busy.
Yep, absolutely.
It's taking all the trees down on Northwest Torch.
Wow.
Huge one.
That is a designated wetland though, so we don't want any oil or transmission fluid or stuff going out there.
Okay, I don't think we have any actions to take care of prior to our next meeting, other than we will get all this out to everybody ahead of time so they can review it. I don't think there's any concerns from the public or comments. So I'll make a motion that we adjourn, and it's, let's say, 8 o'clock.
Second.
Second? All
Aye.
in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nobody's arguing? Okay.
Microphone's off.
Do I just press?
then you gotta still. Just the only thing, if you're gonna, you know you're gonna go, and they can go in and say, look, you're not special ed, you're living in Iowa 154, I have a special clause.
Aren't there rules about plain view and you taking a look at things like that? I mean, can the government just fly over your head with a drone now and look at your property and it's without a warrant or anything?
Yeah,
There
well,
are
Google
old
Earth
pictures
doesn't do
though,
that.
they're 2 years old,
Yeah, they're terrible, but
or more.
Somewhere I read if you had those things over your property, you can shoot them down if you want to.
then you want to have a whole other discussion.
I don't know if that's true, but you hear all this.
I would be real reluctant to do that.
If somebody was,